So I have 2 more episodes left. Just 2 more episodes.
2 more episodes of what?
Game of Thrones. Everyone knows that.
Oh my gosh. You're still... That's what you've been doing instead of doing the podcast with me?
You caught me. I've been doing it exactly at 3 p.m. every other Friday.
Oh my gosh. Any sympathy that I had for you going back to work and balancing like working and a child in school just went out the window.
No, I am working.
Not only did it go out the window, it flew out the window and it's dead at the bottom of the street, okay?
I had a few moments of respect from you.
Jeez Louise. I was all like, oh, poor Lisa.
You know what, though? Honestly, I have been working. That's why I'm still so behind. Like, I should have been done with Game of Thrones. But I'm actually using my days to like do productive things for society, sort of, kind of. Social media videos. Is that really productive? Making people just stop and watch social media videos.
This is like a really good philosophical question, but first let's do an intro. Hello, and welcome to the next episode of It's Your Time to Shine, a podcast about being a mom in a modern world. My name is Juspreet Kaur, and with me is my good friend, Lisa Vora.
I'm back. That's a lot of A's.
Okay, so I feel like that's an actual real philosophically challenging question because on one hand, of course, social media, it seems like it's not important. Although if we think about how much we engage with social media, it's clearly important. So if we're going to do it anyway, maybe it is a good thing that you're creating quality content rather than us just watching cat videos on there.
Though I gotta say, I was talking to Samir about cat videos the other day, and I was saying like, "Oh my God, why are you doing cat? What's the big deal, cat videos?" And he looked at me, and then he just like showed me a bunch of cat videos, and I got addicted. I was like, "Oh my God, these are good."
Cat videos are like surprisingly entertaining, right?
They're hilarious. And then of course, Allie's like, "What are you guys doing?"
I never thought I was a cat person until Instagram cat videos, and now I'm like, maybe I am.
They're way funnier than dog videos. And I love dogs. I'm a dog person. But videos, cats win.
Yeah, totally. Yep, I agree.
You know, it's funny you asked that because I've actually been asking myself that. Not to dive into like serious stuff so quickly. But it's not serious, but it is something I've been, like you said, philosophically thinking about. Because I am really big on, you know, we shouldn't be on social media too much. How do we balance that? How do we manage that? How are we more present? All that good stuff. Meanwhile, I'm doing a job. I'm literally producing videos to get more clicks. So I struggle with that a little bit. But so far, I think it's actually a really good lesson for my kid of how to balance social media with everyday life. Like her own mom works in social media and does social media, but when I'm home, I'm able to disconnect. And I kind of show her how it's managed and that you can do both.
That you can control it.
You can control it. I don't have to, I can separate myself from it. So I think that's, because the truth is, like you said, social media is you can't turn your back on social media. Like it is part of our world, our life.
Yes.
Kids have to know it to some extent for their jobs. So I don't want to ever do that to Alyssa where I'm like, I'm so anti and I'm like the Amish of social media, you know?
Yeah, totally.
So I thought that this is actually a good thing. At least that's how I'm justifying it.
I think there's a lot of time. Well, I definitely agree. There's a lot of tie-ins between almost every job and social media in some perspective. Like for you, obviously you're creating content. And what's the purpose of creating content if it's not going to be consumed? And the way that they consume content these days is through social media kind of applications. But for me too, like I have a new job. I started about, a few months ago, and I'm managing like the digital functions for my company. And a big part of how people find my work and like get started on applications and things like that is through social is a big part of it. Search engines is another big part of it, right? It's like that marketing thing. And I've never before thought, oh, wow, like I need to know more about marketing. Like never in my life have I thought that. And all of a sudden now I'm like, oh, everything's kind of marketing.
Yeah. No, it is. And I mean, that's our biggest platform for advertising.
So all those Indian parents out there, all the Desi moms and dads that were like, be a doctor, be a lawyer, learn sciences. Now we can go back and be like, actually, marketing would have been a great thing to learn more about.
I know, right? Even doctors. I mean, everyone has to have like some sort of social media presence, a little bit.
But having like a digital ability to even schedule, like our pediatrician has online scheduling, sounds dorky. it's so convenient because you know what? At 11:15 at night, when you're like, oh, I need to make an appointment for blah, blah, blah thing, and it's not an emergency, you can just go on there. And I was like, this is so smart.
I love it. I love anything that saves time. And you know what annoys me, though, since we're talking about doctor's appointments? When doctors call to confirm, which is I'm like, you don't need to call me and waste my time, okay? Find a digital way to do it.
Right.
But on top of it, what happened last week for a dentist appointment, they called me. Then they're like, please call us back so that, to confirm, even though many places will say we assume it's confirmed unless we hear from you, which is the best you can do. But they wanted me to call them to confirm. So I called them, and then I got to a call center who answered the call, and I was like, I am confirming. And then they called me back and left me a message saying, you have been confirmed. I was like, oh my God, you've just wasted 7.5 minutes of my life, which is a big percent of a good workout.
When all they could have done was send you a text and said like,
yes,
C to confirm and to not confirm, right?
I love the text. That is so just text me and boom, it's confirmed and we're done and we can move on.
Yeah.
And time management is everything. Because like you were just saying, right? We love it. 11:30 at night, we can do it. It's quick. We're saving time. And then you can use that time to do good things for yourself.
Like watch Game of Thrones season finale.
2 more episodes, Jess. You know what it is? I think I'm just like on purpose going slowly because I'm starting to go through post Game of Thrones depression, but it's pre-post.
You're preparing. You, like every good mom out there and every good Punjabi woman out there, have been training your whole life to be prepared to miss something that has not yet disappeared.
Exactly. I'm not living in the present. Yeah.
Our grandmothers would be very proud of you right now, Lisa. Good job.
You're right. I'm upset about something that hasn't even happened.
That will happen one day. It's funny. I want to tell you something because you're my best friend and I love you so much.
No, I love you.
The best episode of Game of Thrones in the last season was episode 3. You already saw it. It's all down here from here.
I've already heard it's downhill after that. I should have ended on that high note.
Yeah, totally. You should have ended on the note with like, you know what, John? Smash the patriarchy. Enough with the white guys winning. We've got this. Okay?
Yeah.
Okay, first of all, we need to come full circle. Super exciting that we've done so many episodes of the podcast. And our very first one was about me dropping Pavneet, my oldest one, off at kindergarten and what it was like for me. And then you told the story about your mom dropping you off at kindergarten. And now you've dropped your daughter off at kindergarten. Tell me, how was it?
And you told your story of how your mom dropped you off at kindergarten too.
Yes.
For you went Sia, just like Pavneet did, right? She just ran off.
And I said Sia to my mom, and when my daughter said Sia to me, I was bawling. Just as a recap, if you guys don't remember our very first episode, I was crying because I was like, oh, my daughter doesn't need me, even though I had a 3-year-old and a 1-year-old in a stroller that clearly needed lots of attention from me.
Aw.
Okay, so how did it go for you?
It went, so I was, what we just talked about, thinking about the future, I was like depressed the week before. Like, oh my God, she's starting kindergarten. But let me explain where we were. She spent a lot of time with me, just like Pavneet spent time with you.
Right.
So I do think there's so this is my perspective. Like, I'm making it about me. I was just thinking about how Tuesday and Thursday are Mommy Alley days.
Yes.
And she's my buddy, and we go to groceries together. We go eyebrows. So like the week before, I'm just really sad. This is the last time we're going grocery. This is the last time we're doing eyebrows together. I'm just personally just emotional about the fact that I'm not going to see her every day, all day,
Mm-hmm. Right. That makes sense.
I kept that to myself. Even though I'm really big on telling Allie, I also didn't. At this moment for her, it's such a big change for her that I didn't want to make it about me, know?
Right. Yeah.
So
that's like the best parenting advice you can ever give anyone for all life situations. I love that you said that. It should always be about them and never about us.
But I still focus on me. Like when she was sleeping, then I would like start crying. This is the first week of school now with Samir. And he's like, he even asked, he's like, I'm surprised you're not like, you're really big on like, you always show your emotions to Allie. How come you're hiding this one? I'm like, this is a big transition for her. She's not used to it.
For
and
sure.
I don't want to put my sadness on her. That's not fair.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So, but anyway, okay, now the first week. So the first day went really well. She did great. I did a little video, which I produced that day because I was so sad, so I needed something to do. So
Yeah.
that's what I did.
You found yourself with a lot of time on your hands.
I did. I was like, oh my God, what am I going to do? I finally, right after that, contacted work. I'm like, hey, I'm available. But she did really well. She was quiet, but she was kind of walking slowly to class, like what's going on. But she was excited. We had been talking a lot about, being able to approach kids and just saying hi, all this stuff, because she's on the shyer side.
Right.
So we were kind of doing a lot of situational things. Like, what do you do if some kid is alone? Do you want to go up to, stuff like that.
Yeah.
So we'd prepared quite a bit.
Oh, I love that. The role playing is really good for more shy kids.
Yes, we love role play. I mean, like, we did a little bit of like academic stuff, but I was more into the social stuff.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like what would you do? Anyway, so she was fine. We got there and I was like, bye, baby, bye. And I gave her a big hug, and I wouldn't say she ran off. I also wouldn't say she was clinging. Like, there was another kid crying and screaming, and I felt so bad for that, for the parents, of that kid. Just because I would just be like breaking if my kid was crying.
Yeah.
But it was probably the best. It's really not. She just went in and she was good. That's it. The first day she was a little quiet when she came home. So I started this new thing, which has worked great. One of the things or problems is that there's not enough recess, in my opinion.
Sure.
Okay. And it's twice a day, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes or so, but she's used to running around all day. I'm not here to like complain about this or like go out and fight. I'll vote for the right representatives, which is the important part.
As she starts her complaining.
But no, I will like vote for the representatives, but we continue to hear how, not enough recess, eye-opening research. I'm like, it ain't that eye-opening.
Right.
I'm like, our eyes are wide open. We know it.
Yeah.
Let's change this. Okay, you're right. I'm starting to complain. So, when she comes home, what we do now is we run around for 20, 30 minutes. And I mean run around. Like, I'm exhausted. It's another workout for me.
Oh, that's nice.
We run around outside, inside, and then she like her endorphins and she starts talking about her day. It's awesome. It's been great.
Oh, that's so good.
Yeah, and then she'll tell me how she didn't eat lunch. So little things, and I'm not used to packing lunches, so trying to figure that out. You could actually give me good advice on that because cafeteria food sucks.
Well, I don't know whether cafeteria food sucks or not. I know, like, me, I'm like hippie mom, and I never want them to eat cafeteria food because I'm like, is this organic? Was it locally sourced? Are they using additives?
I'm the opposite. I'm the lazy mom, and I'm like, here's $3. It's in your account. Go get food from the cafeteria, but she wouldn't eat it. So I had no choice but to make lunches.
Oh, okay. I'm going to share with you some of my lunch packing tips. I don't make lunch as much now because Bottom is really a much more of a morning person than I am. He jumps up and like makes their lunch and everything. But I have some great tips because I have a child who doesn't eat bread. And when you don't eat bread, you don't eat sandwiches.
That's so hard. Yeah.
And then you have to be really like creative with what you pack in their lunch. I have some awesome suggestions.
Make like a little blog or something with suggestions because I've been looking, like I'm just Googling like ideas, lunch, because I'm just doing like peanut butter and jelly every day because I don't know what else to do.
Which is a great lunch thing because you get the peanut butter, which is good protein. It's balanced, you have some carbs in there, which those little brains need.
Oh, she needs specifically, her doctor said she needs carbs. So, because she's very big, she's a protein vegetable person, which is awesome, but for a growing child, like you just said.
Yeah, for your brain, you definitely need some simple sugars that they can use to munch down on math and colors and other stuff.
Today I did bagel, but she doesn't like cream cheese, so it's just a bagel. That's it. And I don't know, just every day it's something, sandwich, turkey sandwich, but then she doesn't like the honey mustard. I'm like, okay, every day it's something.
Amrik used to like, he would take a turkey sandwich, but he didn't like cheese and he didn't like mayonnaise or any type of sauce. And I was like, how are you going to even like get it down,
I know, I don't get that. They don't like stuff. It's so weird. I don't know.
Yeah. I'm like, but this seems too dry.
Yeah, exactly.
But if they're able to eat it, you know what I used to do? This is going to sound gross, but it actually tastes fine. And it's good for our kids because they're on the smaller side. So they probably need a little more calories too. I would put butter on white bread for him and then put the turkey on it. I know it sounds weird to an adult. It makes it a little softer.
I used to eat sandwiches with butter and meat. I actually love that. And
No
cheese.
way. Okay.
Yes, that's so weird. It was this weird thing I did and I loved it. And you just reminded me of it because I haven't done it and I'm totally going to do it. Not for Allie because she doesn't like butter, but for me.
Yes. Okay. And then other things that worked really well is I would buy cheese and Ritz crackers or those Ritz Club crackers and then just give her like cheese and crackers and some type of meat like salami or pepperoni or something. And then she could make, Hudgun doesn't like sandwiches. She doesn't like bread very much. So she could make a little something.
Oh, almost like a Lunchable.
Yeah, kind of like a Lunchable, but that I've made. And I'm cutting, I get like the, the organic block of cheese and then they cut it.
That's a good idea. She does like Ritz crackers.
Everybody likes Ritz crackers and they're like high in calories, which is good.
I've been buying Ritz crackers for her, and I just yesterday looked at the calories because I've been eating them. I was like, oh my
Yeah,
God.
they're really high. Surprise. And then another thing that my kiddos like, just to break it up and give some variety to, is crackers with green apples sliced really thin. And then I put a little bit of lemon juice and cinnamon on it just so they don't turn brown. They taste fine when they're brown, but kids can be like, ew, like why did it change or whatever. So the lemon juice and the cinnamon keeps it from turning brown.
Okay, that's a good idea.
And then I give them that with a little bit of peanut butter. So they can like put the peanut butter on the cracker and then put the apple on it or eat it however they want. But they're getting protein, they're getting some carbs, and they're getting a little bit of fat.
This seems so simple, and yet to me it's like genius, these ideas.
Yeah.
They seem simple. I'm like, I never thought of
And
this.
then another really good one to give them protein is avocado. Like just chop up avocado in pieces.
She hates avocado.
Oh, she doesn't like that?
Nope, she doesn't do avocado. And cheese, I don't really give her dairy because she had so many problems with, I don't want to get all like just bathroom problems.
Yeah. Yeah.
But that's like really helped. No cheese. I do dairy-free cheese for her. So like vegan.
What
basically.
about yogurt? What about?
I did yogurt or like rice pudding, and then she eats really slowly. So that's all she ate. Then she goes, I just don't have enough time. Don't back it. I was like, okay.
Oh, yeah. They're talking a lot. There's not enough time. You got to practice that at home. You got to practice. Like, you got to sit with them. I would do that because when Bavneet started, my friend, Susie, who was like my seasoned mom when I had her as my first one in school, used to give me tips. And she was like, they got to eat faster. There's no time to talk. Because they don't get that much time. And kids love talking, right? That's their free time to actually talk when the teacher's not like, be quiet and work on this and blah, blah, blah,
Right,
So they're like telling stories and stuff. So I'd be at home with them and be like, okay, let's show me how you're going to eat first and then talk.
That's a good idea. I need to do that too.
Yeah. It's a bad habit because we're rushing them to eat.
You're just full of good ideas today, Jess. I want to give you some ideas. I don't have anything.
I'm sure you'll have some soon. No, these are the things that we should be sharing with one another, like when our kids go through that.
You're right. The slow eating thing I never thought about. I'm like, oh, you're just a slow eater, She also likes to get in line, though, because she loves the school milk. And I know it's full of sugar, but I used to really like the school milk, and I just like...
Oh, yes. Chocolate milk at the school tastes so good.
And also, I like her to have practice, also to actually buy something and put in her code and stuff. So the teacher actually emailed me like, it's the cutest thing.
Aw, that's cute.
She's made one or two friends she talks about sometimes, but the fifth graders love her in our neighborhood. Love her. It's weird. And I'm like, dude, my kid is not that special. It's cute, but it's weird.
It's because she's little and cute.
We have... 2-3 girls right on our street. Then we have some boys down the street. And I met the moms, and all the moms are cool. We're actually getting along. I'm loving this neighborhood.
Oh, nice.
And these 5th grade boys, Allie, come here, give me 5, do this, Allie. And then like they do this whole thing after school where they climb the pole. The pole, like for the signs, for the street signs. Allie can get all the way to the top. I should send you a picture.
Oh, cool.
So Allie's been doing that with them. And then yesterday I actually went to a book club in my neighborhood. And then one of the moms is like, oh my God. And she was talking about how her daughter and the other girl, they're best friends, but they're competing over Allie. And they're like, Allie likes me better. No, Allie likes me better. Like, oh my God.
That's so sweet.
They love her. I invited them all over to our pool last Friday. So they were just hovering over her like, Allie this, Allie come here, Allie do this, and blah, blah, blah. It was just so cute. And the 5th grade boys were here too.
Aw, that's nice. Does she ride the bus?
She does, yeah. And she
Oh,
loves,
good.
that's her favorite part of school is the bus because she's just
Oh,
a rock
cool.
star. So her teacher actually emailed me, tell me that too. I mean, it was in context of something else.
Yeah.
She was like, all the fifth graders like come to the table and they're like, hi, Allie. And I was like, aw,
Oh, that's so adorable.
how is she doing with the kindergartners though? Is my question.
Yeah. And how is she with her peers?
Exactly.
I'm just
You know, the
kidding.
people she's going to spend time with for like the next
Yes.
12 years, those kids.
Right, exactly. Oh no, that's awesome. And you know, it helps kids too, like if they have friends of different ages, because then they realize that there are people in the school that are outside of their classroom that they can develop relationships with. And that's awesome. I think if you have like a fifth grader or fourth grader that's looking out for her, that also would make me feel a little bit better as long as that kid is a good kid, right?
I'll be honest with you, because it's all about perception. That's just human nature, right? I was
Yeah.
like, these fifth graders saying hi to her makes Allie look cool. Like,
Oh, yeah, totally. And makes her feel confident too. But, you know, that's not just for kids. Like, that happens with us too. Like, when I'm walking down the hallway, if someone else says, like, oh, hey, Juspreet, you feel that bit of confidence. Like, hey, someone stopped to say hi to me.
and then you act on that confidence, and that energy like transmits into you being that person, you know?
Right.
So,
Yeah. And you know what? As you're saying that, it's making me think about the opposite, why it's really important to always say hi to people and be kind, because kids that don't ever get that,
no, you're right. Yeah.
the boost that one child gets, you can see what the negative effects of not getting it would be like, right?
Yeah, we have like a measurement.
Yeah. Oh, I'm going to tell my kids to make an effort to say hi to other young kids.
It means everything to these little kids, these older kids doing that.
Isn't it funny too? Because remember when we all got together over the summer and we were saying like things that you had said, like, oh, things that sometimes I'm like, hey, Allie, do you want to do this? And she's like, no. When Hudgwin suggested it, she's like, yeah, let's go.
Yep, exactly. I actually asked the girls to ask her, like, when they get off the bus, I'm like, can you ask Allie if she ate her lunch and how was her day?
Yeah. So you can get the information.
Because I know, don't ask how was your day, but I can get the peers, them to ask, not the peers, but the fifth graders. Yeah.
Yeah, and that doesn't go away, Lisa. It's like I have my sister-in-law and brother-in-law sometimes asking me like, hey, can you talk to so-and-so? And the kids are older. They're like 14 or 16. And they're like, can you just give them your opinion or give them some advice or ask them about this? And that's going to go on forever. Like these relationships, it's not just one way. It's not just mom to child or child to dad. It's all these crossways ones too. It's like cousin, neighbor, and building that network, that support network is like so important.
That's why we're so glad we're in this neighborhood. I mean, this neighborhood is just awesome. I don't ever want to move. Samir's like, we're going to downsize in like 20 years. I'm like, no, we're not. I'm staying here.
That's funny. Whenever someone says like, hey, are you going to live in this house for a long time? Before me and Bottom can answer, Hudgwin always goes, yes.
I'm pretty sure that's exactly what Allie's going to do.
That's so funny. Okay, so school's been going well. You're back to work. What's it like working? I know you're not full time, but you're working a lot more. What's that like?
Well, I'm basically almost working every day. Obviously, I still have my own hours, but I'm trying to work every day. But I'm working from home. It's been good, but you know, I mean, I was telling Samir, it's getting a little lonely working from home all day, every day.
Oh my gosh. I just read an article yesterday about how there's so many work from home jobs now in America.
Yeah.
And many people are starting to feel so disconnected and lonely working from home.
Yeah, I don't think we're meant to be that alone all day. Like, I want to go to work. It takes 3 hours to go back and forth, and it's not worth it because I got to be home for bus drop off and pick up. But yeah, no, I can see that. Because you're not interacting with anyone and we're social beings. We need that interaction.
Oh, totally.
I try to schedule lunches.
Oh, that's nice.
I've given myself Wednesday morning off to run errands. It's my errands morning.
Right.
So kind of try to at least meet up with people.
And see other people. Yeah, you have to really make an effort when you're working from home.
Yeah, and I have some moms in this neighborhood that I've actually become good friends with. So that's been cool. I'll go over there for tea. But my point is I will make that effort. Otherwise, I'm going to go crazy in this house all day, editing and just staring at the screen and trying to be creative. Like, I don't even have the creative energy I sometimes need from other people.
Okay, that's really funny that we would be talking about that because yesterday I went to the doctor in the morning and we've talked about how my schedule can be really crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yesterday was one of those days I was booked the whole way and I didn't have any time to drive from the doctor's to work to start my meetings. So I sent a note to my team and I was like, okay, I'm going to work from home because the doctor's really close to my house. And I was like, and then I'll drive in when I have time, like maybe at lunchtime. So I'm home. Bottom works from home when he's not traveling. So he doesn't even have an office that he can go into. And we're both sitting at home, like quote unquote working from home. We're on calls and stuff. He didn't say one word to me the entire day. And I was like, oh
my God, that sounds like Samir.
I'm like, I understand you're in the zone. I'm in the zone too. We're both on conference calls. We can't even be in the same room because you hear each other, right? Like you don't want that distraction of like somebody else talking at the same time. But I feel like there should be a lunch break or something where you're like, oh, my wife is here. I don't normally see her during the day. Like, let me just give her a hug, give her a kiss, eat a cracker with her.
Yes. You know what? We're living the exact same life. Samir does the exact same thing, and I get so mad. Like, can't you just come say hi? He's so in his zone, and I'm like, doo-doo-doo. You want to have lunch now? And no, just like butt him. Exactly. We got into a fight once.
Oh, that's funny. What happened?
I got mad at some point. I was like, because I'm aching, and when he's home, at least like I have some interaction. And then he's all like, I'm like, you can't just come and say hi. You can't just give me a kiss. We fought for like 30, 40 minutes, and I was like, all you had to do is say hi, and you wouldn't have wasted 40 minutes on the fight, which I initiated, but that's not the point,
But you initiated for the greater good of his work habits, right?
I feel like we're dating again. Like I was upstairs working and I heard him in the kitchen, like having coffee or lunch or something. And I'm like, he didn't even ask me. Like I wanted to call you. What does it mean? Does he like me? Does he still love me? Why did he do it by himself? Did I do something wrong?
That's hilarious. Yeah, that's the same with me because Budham doesn't eat. He'll like have breakfast and then he doesn't eat during the day. He just like drinks coffee and he's just in the zone, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, hey, do you want this? Hey, do you want that? I'm asking him. He's like, no, I'm good. No, I'm good. No, I'm good. And I was like, you could ask me too. And he's looking at me like,
yes.
I'm busy right now. He's like, you're basic.
And you're like, I'm busy too. I'm working too. It's just that I know how to get out of my zone for a few minutes to say hi. And that's why Samir doesn't like to work from home. I distract him. He said that.
I know. With all that, with all the working from home stuff, it makes you really appreciate like having that interaction with other people. But I think you have to just be mindful about it and you have to like make an effort to meet up with people.
Exactly. You have to be mindful.
But it really affected me because I ended up staying home all day because then I was like, why rush like during my 30-minute lunch break to go to the office, and which is 30 minutes really isn't enough time because my campus is so big. And so I was like, you know what, forget it. I'm going to stay home and work from home all day. And at the end of the day, when the kids came home, I was like, oh my gosh, hi guys. Like, how'd it go? What'd you do today? And I was like, let's hug, let's talk. And the kids were like, Mom, what's wrong with you? I'm like, well, someone didn't want to talk to me all day. And Budham looks up and he's like, are you talking about me? And I'm like, yeah. And he was like, oh. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I've been giving you the cold shoulder and you didn't even notice?
He didn't even notice that he didn't talk to you all day. At least notice. Like, even if you don't talk to me, at least be aware of the fact that you're not talking to me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's how I am with Allie too. When she comes home, like, hey, da-da-da, and I'm all over her, and she's like, what? And that's why we run around.
You know what's funny, though? I just thought about this, because I used to sometimes think when the kids were little, like, the amount of curriculum that they actually get through is such a small amount during the course of the day, because there's so many inefficiencies in, like, a classroom environment, right?
Oh, yeah, like disruptions, behavior, yeah.
Yeah, I used to think if we homeschooled them, they'd be so much better off because they wouldn't be wasting time and they wouldn't become, like, socialized to this like worker bee kind of mindset. But now I just realize like they need that interaction with different people throughout the course of the day. And they probably are more creative because of it. Just like you were saying, you need that creative energy from one another.
Yep, you do. But you know what's funny? Homeschooling translates to working from home. It's almost a prep for that.
Totally. Yes. And a lot of kids that are homeschooled can't relate to other people.
Exactly. And like you said before, you have to be aware. Like I'm working from home full time basically every day. So I make an effort. I will go to, another mom's house down the street and just have tea, or I'm making an effort with a book club here, but, or friends, but I'm going to. Otherwise, I know I'll go crazy and my products won't be good.
Right. Yeah. And then you won't have the energy to like take care of your child when your child's home and needs you, or your husband's home and needs you too.
Yeah, exactly. So, what you're saying about depression, totally. I can 100% see that. Being home all day, every day, not interacting with anyone. Or trying to interact with your husband who doesn't care. But yeah, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, who doesn't notice. Hey, you were talking about Game of Thrones. I wanted to tell you about another show that I saw that I think you should watch, and then I'd love to talk about it a little bit. So Rena and I talked about the Central Park Five, and we were kind of talking about how like media sometimes can give us an opportunity to have a conversation that's difficult to have otherwise. But there was something that I started watching on my own just to see what it was about. And then I ended up finishing it. It's a two-part series, a two-part series from HBO called I Love You Now Die.
I Love You Now Die, okay.
Yes, and it's a very interesting insight into social media, how real it really is, and how relationships and like the definition and the boundaries of relationships are really changing for like our children's generation.
Oh, wow. Is it a documentary or like?
It is. Yeah. It's a documentary, but I'll just say like as HBO always does, it's more than just a documentary. Like it's more than just the facts. You know, they have the plot twist. They show all sides, which is something I really love about their miniseries. But we should talk about it.
That sounds so up my alley on every level. Just obviously the subject matter, but also like just, you know, it's a documentary. I like documentaries and production and how they did it and everything. So I'm definitely going to watch that. So it's 2 parts. How long is?
It's it's not long. It's like maybe 40 minutes each.
2 episodes of Game of Thrones and then I'm watching it.
Yes. And then great conversation point. So I ended up talking to Bhavneet about it, watching it with her, and then talking about boundaries and other things. So add it to your watch list and then we should talk about it.
Okay, cool.
I have one quick question for you. Mm-hmm. What's the homework situation in kindergarten? Have they abolished it yet?
Pretty much. She doesn't have homework. The only thing is on Wednesday, I get a folder full of stuff she did all week. And sometimes it'll say work on this or, you know. But I try not to do anything in the evenings because her brain is just done processing and it's more about just running around and endorphins and, you know, just preparing for a good night's sleep. Oh, speaking of sleep. So Allie, it's funny because I'm always trying to find ways to teach Allie that sleep's important. It's really hard to teach an adult, let alone a 5-year-old, you know?
Right. Mm-hmm.
So, you know, obviously these kids are always fighting sleep. Like, no, I'm not tired. And they fall asleep like 5 minutes later. So she hadn't slept that well 2 nights ago. She woke me up at like 1 a.m. She had an accident, which is fine. It happens, but it disrupted our sleep for both of us. Mm-hmm. And, you know, we moved beds, whatever. I had to move so we were up, and then it took her a while to fall asleep. She probably was up for an hour and a half in the middle. Anyway, next day she woke up, she's fine, but I know she was going to be really cranky. And she really, like the night before, she also hadn't slept, so I know it was going to all catch up to her. Right. Because she can handle it like one night. But I'm always like I said, I'm always trying to find ways. So
she's much more put together than I am.
Way more than I am. If I don't sleep, you know you can't be around me at all, right? Yeah. So, and for me, it's like a minimum of 9 hours, which is a lot of pressure. So, last night she was really cranky. I was like, okay, I know you're tired. And she's now a very sweet child. She took like a little pencil and she almost threw it like out of anger, right? Because I was like, say bye to your grandparents or something. But she stopped herself and I saw her face like she couldn't believe she was about to do it. And I looked at her and I was like, Allie, were you about to just slam that, like throw it? And she just looked at me like scared that I was going to get mad. But I wasn't. I took her aside and I was like, do you remember how you felt? Do you remember when you had that urge to do it? And you were like surprised? She goes, yeah. And I'm like, that's how you know you're tired. And that's why sleep's important. And she's like, can I go upstairs and sleep? So I thought that was a really like a win for parenting and for like society. That's awesome. Because trying to teach kids sleep is important and always trying to find, you know, ways to do it is hard.
Yeah. And also recognize what is the reason that I feel the way I feel and what's causing me to feel this way.
Exactly. Because it's hard to measure it. Like, I'm not tired. But at that point, when I saw her expression at the shock she had at her own almost behavior, I was like, this is it. I'm using this opportunity, you know, to teach her something. You know, I'm obsessed with sleep.
And then what an accomplishment that she stopped herself. That's really awesome too.
Yeah, that she didn't have a complete knee-jerk reaction. Because I told her, if you don't sleep, you're going to have knee-jerk reactions. You do things. Yeah. And she stopped herself from a knee-jerk reaction, but she also knew that it was coming. So.
Aw, that's awesome. Good job. Good mama moment.
It was. I know. I was really proud of myself. I have to say. I usually don't pat myself on the back. So. What am I saying? I always pat myself on the back. Okay. As I said it, I was like, that's a blatant lie.
You're like, wait a minute. I do that.
I'm Lisa Vora. I'm like full of myself.
That's so funny. Oh, it was so good to hear about that. We're going to continue talking more because Lisa's back. And as always, thanks for listening.